that criticism isn't about like we had a bad idea or we're terrible people. It's just like, oh gosh, that could be a good idea. Let's give that a shot. Or we didn't anticipate this as an issue. And so we do try to anticipate as much as we can.
And it was the fact where we had a waitress, and you see Kate's going to cry.
I am.
And I'm going to tear up talking about this, but the fact that they didn't know how they were going to buy Christmas gifts for their kids. But we remember that. That's why we do what we do, because we can make a difference in people's lives.
What's up, guys? Lift and Love. Lift and Love here. Where did you pull this question from? Why is that? Lift Love. Crochet. We out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome. We're back. We got an amazing episode today. If you can't see behind, we got the Hickory Buzz, Hickory Shows. We got the founders of both, the co-founders. We got Kate Dillon and Jimmy Schultz.
That's right. You got it right. That's
Let's
awesome.
go.
Yeah.
This is going to be a huge episode. First off, thank you guys both for your time. I know you guys are extremely busy, as you guys were just doing work here as I set up. Talk to people about, I really want to know, for me personally, I have a selfish question. How did this all start?
So this goes way back to, 2007. So I have a graphic design business. I wrap race cars. So way back in 2007, I had this big grand idea that I wanted to do a national trade show called PRI. Performance Racing Industry Show in Orlando. It was very expensive to do a national level trade show, so I swung this deal with my vinyl supplier, and I wrapped a car, and I would sell the theme, and I would rip it off and then rewrap it, and so anyways, I needed help. Yeah. So my sister is like, you can just drop her into the middle of the rainforest and she can, figure her way out. And so there's really no instruction needed or anything. So she was living in Idaho at the time. So I'm like, hey, can you come and help me? So that's where it started. So she came I did that show for 3 years. She came and helped me. And then on the way back, from one of those shows, I was talking to my friend at the time and my dad, and we were like, it's a shame, because we just love trade shows, and the trade show was awesome. We were like, it's a shame that our local and regional racers never get to go to see anything like this. It's all the new parts and all the people you meet, the technology, the just the energy there, to be able to help kickstart, why you're doing what you're doing, like in racing. And so we just kind of looked into it and said, what it would be like if we did our own trade show. We didn't know anything about it. So we called the convention center. I was like, oh, okay, I think we can swing that, and we just kind of started from zero. So she came and helped us with the trade shows, and we ended up doing the first cars racing show in 2010, 11?
Yeah,
11, 12, and 13.
Yeah.
So we did 3 years. The third year went to Charlotte, and then that just didn't really work out so well. Hickory was great, and so we just didn't do it after that for a while. And then go ahead, you can start.
Yeah. So back at that 2013 show, then I actually moved back to North Carolina from Idaho to help with that show. Now, moving to Charlotte, we are more of a regional show. But because of that, because of being involved in the racing industry, and by the way, besides my brother having the racing wrap business, our dad was a race car driver. So we grew up in the racing industry. So there's just a feeling that you have when you grow up in a sport. And so as a result of the trade show, although we stopped doing the trade show after 2013, it prompted me to start my own racing business. So I have a racing parts business, and Jimmy still has the wrap business. Mm-hmm. So that's going to catch us up to 2020.
So wait, so hold, okay, so so that's an insane story of you going into it for one thing, and then you each having your own business from doing events like that. Or being in that space,
Well, the common part about this is that I really feel like that what made my business like a national level business was the exposure at a national level trade show, PRI. She built her business by doing videos and video instructions. I mean, basically transcendent in the industry. Up until then, you had very archaic marketing practices. She came in and just fresh. I mean, I'm so proud of her being not only doing what she's done, but also the fact that it's an all-female business in a man's world. I've raced for a long time too, so it's like totally understand how hard it is to break into a culture like that, especially as a female. But she just kind of came in and hammered her way right through that. So. But our common denominator between the two is that we believe in the power of face-to-face interaction and in a trade show expo environment.
Yeah, I mean, because there is literally nothing like it. There is nothing like, you know, for your event specifically. I went the last 2 years, and it's just there's nothing like it. You know, you have over 100 vendors, 200. I think 220 is this year's, over 220.
Yeah, I think we had 235 last year. Yeah,
it's insane. First off, to get that many people together in one room, right? So cool. You never know who you're going to run into. And then how many different vendors. Yeah, there's nothing like it. Trade shows are like the coolest thing ever, in my opinion, honestly. So I know you were talking 2020. Catch us up to 2020. What happened?
Well, I think we, like the world about stopped, right? So one thing that happened is, you know, as like he said, I do a lot of video, and part of how I also built my business was also on this performance racing industry trade show. Yeah. He built his business by doing it in person, but I would go when I had my parts business. Well, I still have my parts business, but I would go to the racing trade show and I would interview all these manufacturers. I would talk about the new products. I would get instructions, all of those type of things. So it was pretty clear to us that in 2020 that a national trade show with 50 to 60,000 people internationally probably wasn't going to happen. And I think we all knew this months and months in advance. So I'm getting calls from my manufacturers. They're saying, Kate, if there's no PRI, what are you going to do? Because that's how I created a lot of my content. A lot. I would go for those several days and I would come back with somewhere between 30 and 50 videos. And as you know, I mean, that's my content for months, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
So like how much I would do back then. And it's like, what would I do? And then the idea was floated, well, what about if you guys brought back the Cars Racing Show? So I called Jimmy.
She texted me. I remember the text. She says, hey, this is in the middle of the pandemic. She says, what do you think about doing the Cars show again? And I remember my text. I was like, not sure.
There's these 5 letters that I think you might be aware of.
So I still have my contacts up there and everything. So I was like, let me find out. So we, because we were a retail show, we've had to follow all the rules of like what a Walmart or a Home Depot did. This is the crazy, just where I hope we never see anything like that in our lifetimes again, and that humanity never sees that again. But like the craziness of the fact that because we were a retail show, we were able to have we did have a limit. I think we couldn't have more than 1,000 people in the building, so we were keeping track of that. But if we weren't a retail show, like if it was just a trade only event, there could have been 8 people in the building in the entire building at one time. So we even faced some opposition from the governor's office at the end. It was crazy, but what was really nice is we were able to, not only did we pull the show off, but we literally were able to save some businesses that had depended on shows and people wanted to come. We had a huge crowd. We had people from Pennsylvania and New York State all the way down to Florida. We had people from the Midwest coming because nothing was going on. So anyways, that kickstarted the Cars Racing Show again. And then we did it we did 2020, 2021.
Well, 22.
22.
Because we actually we took the date of that national trade show. The minute that they announced that they were canceling, we already had most of our booths ready to be sold. I mean, we weren't going to sell anything until we weren't going to take anybody's money, but we had it all lined up.
So that gets us to like 2022 to where now at this point in time, she's thriving with her business and I'm thriving with my business, and we doing one trade show a year at the Cars Racing Show. And what changed it was it was after the 2022 show. If I'm
because it was December 20 of 2020, and then it was January of 2022. So it's really just a year and a month because our our racing shows.
So I'm up at the convention center afterwards, and I'm talking to my best friend up there, Amber, who's been up there longer than I've known Amber for a really long time, and closure of the show, and she says, "Hey, you guys ever thought about this?" Is what changed it all to where she says, "You ever thought about doing any other shows?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "The two shows that people call about the most of the time are a Christmas show and a home and garden show." Now, I didn't know anything about a Christmas show, but I know home and garden stuff. So I call her up. I was in the concourse up there, and I said, "Hey," I was talking to Amber, and talked about doing a Christmas show and a home. I said, "I'd like to do the home and garden show." She says, "Well, I want to do the Christmas show." So I was like, "Well, okay, in that case, I guess we have to do them both."
Yeah.
So we set dates right there, and we didn't know anything about it. We didn't have a vendor one, nothing, didn't know anything about it. And so we started going out, like, I think it was like May of 23, because we started doing a lot of research on especially the Christmas show, because it was the first one, and that was the first one that was going to come up. And so we did a lot of research. We even went to Europe. My daughter was studying in Europe anyway, in architecture. She was in Prague. So we went to the Christmas markets and all that sort of stuff, and we're like, "Hey, how can we bring this, this German feel, Austrian kind of vibe, whatever." And so came back, started talking to people, and I give those early adopters a ton of credit, because here, I walk up with a postcard, and like the first question is, what was last year's show like? Well, we didn't do one. This is first year. We need to just sign up, whatever. But like the very first event went to a real tiny little craft event in South Iredell High School in their gym thing there. By the time I got home, somebody had already signed up. And it was awesome. It's that started it all. Well, then, anyways, we weren't sure. We had a small section of the one room of the convention center. We thought we could start with this. Well, anyways, by the time we ended up filling that whole area, and we had like 300 people on the waiting list.
I think that's one of my favorite things of the story is like, no one really understands that, like, going there the first time. I didn't know you guys at the first show. It seemed so well put together when you realize that this is 6 months, a year that you guys had to plan it, and you guys just kind of came into it not knowing what the heck was going to happen at all. Like, to be able to be adaptive, to be like, you know what, I have an idea, let's make it happen, and then actually making it happen when you had no blueprint, you had nothing. I mean, you guys have event experience, but Christmas, you guys were doing car parts, you're doing car shows. Christmas is a whole different ballgame. There's a certain demographic for, like, each event that you guys do, but I feel like Christmas is the one event that literally could cater to anybody, whether you're 80 or 8 years old.
That's why it's our highest attended event, and why it's the convention center's largest event they've ever had up there. But I think the part about it, the part you have to understand about trade shows like this or events like this, is that we are such oddballs in this industry. In the fact that this is because where we're coming from. Now, I already told you the story about how we got into the trade show business. It wasn't because we grew up in it, or we worked for somebody that did trade shows. We didn't know anything. We did our first trade show, organized our first one, without ever being on that side of things. You know what I'm saying? We just did it. And so now we are one of the few, there's just not very many independent trade show owners. And so so all we could sell at any of these shows, just like what we're going to talk about the Buzz, what we can sell is our genuineness and authenticity, and the fact that we live here. We love Hickory. We love our community. We're trying to do these things for our community. We are more worried about doing the right thing than we are making money. We are trying to bring the community, raise the community up with what we can do with events and promotions. And I think when we are able to sell ourselves that way, people see that. Like, for instance, people email us. Like, somebody can email us right now and be like, "Hey, I'll email them back." They're like, "Wow, the owner of the," I don't think hey, I'm just like you. I'll go. I'll talk, we answer people's emails. We answer people's phone calls. They know us personally. And so
real quick, Kate, for that first show, what was going through your mind as you're like, it's building up, and then like day of, you see, oh my goodness, like people are really just coming out and supporting this and want to see it. Like, how did it feel knowing that all this hard work actually like paid off?
Oh, it's so incredible. And especially to know like, when you come from the racing industry, racing is all about winning. And I'm probably I am known to be more competitive than probably most of my racing customers. I am one of the most competitive people have met. And so, but it's not enough for me to win.
Yeah.
It really gives me joy to help a lot of other people win. That's the next level. And so when you can see like when people's biggest complaint is like, I guess I'll show up tomorrow, but I sold out of everything I brought. People sold out. And,
That's awesome.
To know that this, especially with these folks that do this handmade stuff, to know that their things are accepted, that they're being, successful in that, and that we could be a small piece of that is so incredibly gratifying.
Yeah,
it really is.
Was one of the ththings with the first show that people genuinely did not know.
They didn't know
how many people were going. Because so we went. Real quick, I heard about it because obviously I was with the chamber at the time, and then people talked about it and whatnot. So I was like, I talked to my wife. I said, let's just go. Let's go see what it is. Whatever. We paid a single day ticket, and we go. And I literally looked at her when we walked in. And I said, this is probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. And we went like peak hours. Like it was a Saturday, 12 o'clock, like there was so many people. And I was just like, this is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. So was it that the vendors just, you guys, did you guys even expect that many people to show up?
We had no idea.
I got to tell you this. So the craziness. So they were still doing. So with our first Christmas show, they were still adding on to that gym area at the convention center.
Oh yeah.
So that whole part of the parking lot was still closed down, and there was other auxiliary parking around, and we'd thought, hey, gosh, we're getting a lot of. We're building up our social media. It seems like there's a lot going on. We think this is going to be really popular, so we're concerned. Well, next thing you know, we fill up every parking space, like in a long ways. And like we had said, like, we think we might need to park like at the mall. And they were like, well, no, we don't think so. Well, next thing you know, I think it was like the mayor that was maybe, or city councilman or something. I'm not even sure what was happening behind the scenes. We are behind the scenes, but there was other things happening. And next thing you know, there are shuttles that are bringing people from the mall. And
so
it was insane.
That shuttle was not originally in the plan.
No,
that they made that happen Saturday morning. We are so busy at the show. It was so crazy that like one thing that we do for all of the vendors at all of our shows is we line it up with the caterer liazos where they can the vendor lunches. A lot of times people it's just one person in a booth, so you can't leave to go get something to eat. And so we know because we're on the other side of that sometimes. We both have booths in our own racing show. So we line up these vendor lunches. There were so many people in the aisles that the caterer said, I can't get down the aisles to deliver the food. So we had to stage them in one of the conference rooms, and then we have all these kids, these students that work for us, that everybody that we know, they're all friends and family, and then they go to the same school, all great. We can depend on them, and they were going and grabbing lunches and trying to weave through the crowd to give people their lunch. That's how it was.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorite things, and this is my favorite things about you guys specifically, individually as a business, the first year I went, that was the biggest thing. It was like crowded and like there was no flow of traffic. It was kind of a little hectic. The second year you come back, none of those problems exist. Like the way you guys can adapt, and every event that you go to is just better and better. Like you guys actually listen to the feedback. You guys listen to the criticism, whether it's good or bad, and you take that. In the next event, you don't even see it. Like we went to last year's one. The flow of traffic was easier. Like, and there's honestly more people than there was at the first one, or at least it felt like
there was.
In my perspective. And it's like, okay, so like you guys are taking it, like you said, you guys are here, you love this, and you're gonna make it the best you possibly can. So like, where did that come from, or is that just kind of how you guys always been as far as taking the criticism and being adaptable?
Well, I think it's important, just as a business owner and also being a marketer. You understand with marketing, you gotta be like fleet. You gotta be very flexible on your feet because you cannot stay in one place. Everything's gonna change. If there's one constant in life, it's change. And so you've got to be able to adapt to that in order to be successful. And so when there's criticism, I've also been in sales for a long time. When somebody tells me no, it's not a rejection of like who I am as a person. I'm not terrible. It's just, it's just no, it's not a rejection. So I think that criticism isn't about like we had a bad idea or we're terrible people. It's just like, oh gosh, that could be a good idea. Let's give that a shot. Or we didn't anticipate this as an issue. And so we do try to anticipate as much as we can. Yeah. And just got to be fleet-footed and adaptable.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we talked about, Jimmy, was I was telling you about the traffic, and one of your biggest things was you spent a lot of time, you were telling me, really figuring out the map. I know one of the things you said is vendors couldn't have stuff in the aisles, and like you really, really had to focus on making the flow of traffic easy for the next event. So what went into that, and like talk a little bit about behind the scenes, because I don't think people understand the work that goes in, because you get the feedback, the event happens, you get the feedback. And now you have a whole year, especially for like the Christmas event specifically, to figure it out. What goes on behind the scenes, and we could talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm an engineer by trade, so math and efficiency are very big focuses of mine. So when we know that we have 900 give or take spots at the convention center and around the convention center, and we are expecting 15,000 people at the Christmas show over the course of 3 days.
The math works perfect.
You have to accommodate for that. And the fact that we also understand that the convention center is bordered by I-40. We can't expect people to walk across I-40. We can't expect people to walk across 70. Either. So how can we grow the show? You cannot just organically expect it to happen. So, and going back to what she said too, and we were just talking about the movie, one of my favorite movies ever is Ratatouille. And it's about it's when at the end, when Anton Ego said that he finally understood what Chef Gusteau was saying the whole time. It's not that anyone can cook, but a great artist can come from anywhere. It's the same thing about ideas. We are the only. It's part of the wisdom that I think I've learned over the years is the fact that the only perspective that we have ourselves is the one from our own shoes, and we can't. There's no way that we can understand anybody else's perspective unless they tell us about it. So, like, it's important. It's so important. We focus more on the 2 or 3 people that have constructive criticism than we do with the 300 people that had an amazing event. So we're like, how can we fix these issues? Because there's even going to be further changes in year 3. And also, I'll predict this, that year 4 is going to have more changes from year 3 to year 4. It's just what you do if you care. We care so much about our show. We care about our vendors. We care about our attendees. We want everybody to have an amazing experience. So so it's like going back to behind the scenes is people would if we had a camera in here to watch us agonize and debate and sometimes argue over what something would be a very simple like problem or maybe not even perceived problem. We predict things to happen. Like what are we going to do with something like this? It is. I think people would be shocked.
I mean, even just before, and I'm not going to give too much away, but the difference of $1. Like, it really shows how much that you guys would rather people have a good experience than make money. You guys were sitting here for like 20 minutes just talking like for $1, because that makes so much of a difference. Like, that's $1 that family could put towards dinner that night. That's $1 that they could spend at the show with a vendor. Like, yes, it seems silly when you say $1 or $2, but for you guys, it's like that's how much you care. And I don't think people understand that at all.
They don't, and I don't, and honestly, I don't expect them to understand that. All we want them to see is the simplicity of the fact that this is an awesome event, and I can't wait to come back. And if it's a great value for the vendors and it's a great value for the attendees, then we win, and it's a great value for the community.
And that's about the win is, it's the triple win. Mm-hmm. It's. You want the win all the way across the board. And I'm glad that you were able to see us have like 3 different talking points that we were on opposite sides of, I suppose, or that we were discussing or obsessing over. And you can see that it's heated, but it's not a winner or a loser. I mean, we're trying to come up with the best solution. It doesn't matter where it came from or who it is. And also it's not like, well, they didn't take my idea, so now I'm going to take my bags and I'm going to go home. I mean, we just don't get like that.
I think it's another big, when you're in business and I love history and especially like history that matters. I mean, it's like, but like when you go back to understand and you look at some things in business where business is made critical, when you could identify a critical juncture in the success or demise of that business. Like for instance, go back, why do we not have Blockbusters anymore? Because they didn't buy Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Somebody
Netflix
do
was
that.
failing.
Like, why does Circuit City not anymore? They had a great idea with their whole Divx line of the whole deal, but the only problem was somebody made the decision to only be able to buy them at Circuit City and not be able to buy them at other retail locations. Now, I also have worked in the corporate world, so I have seen. I worked in a Fortune 500 company that is no longer a Fortune 500 company because I have seen either people totally dismiss these critical things, or not going back and correcting them when they could have. And so the power is when you can identify critical points and junctures before they are critical. And you because if you own a business and you're trying to propel your business along the path of success, you're going to reach multiple forks in the road. Do I go this way? Do I go this way? And then you go this way. Do I go this way or that way? And so you have to make the right decisions. And so it's not luck. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes COVID happens, and there's nothing you could do about that or whatever. Or weather, if you're depending on some outside events or
even
anything like that.
if you are an inside event, if you got an inside event and you got to deal with snow and
yeah,
ice.
we're racing. We're both our businesses are both in racing, so weather is a big deal. Rains races out all the time, so we want people to race. But with the shows and with the buzz, we agonize over and obsess over each one of these what would be simple like forks in the road that we think could be very critical in the success or demise of our business.
I think one of the last things we'll talk about before we hop over to the buzz, because I think the buzz is the thing, and we'll talk about that in a minute. There's nothing, you talk about pricing, you talk about value, you talk about all this stuff, and as we were sitting here before, it's like there's nothing like this. Like, I don't know if people understand. There's nothing like this in this area that you guys are doing. You are the first to do something like this, especially at this scale. I'm sure there's smaller things happening on smaller scales, but like on a big scale, nobody's putting an event on in Hickory or this area. You have to go to Charlotte for something like this, and even in Charlotte, I've heard mixed reviews.
And you understand the Charlotte thing is that most events or trade shows are put on by like corporations.
Yeah.
The one I think the one that puts on a lot of the events in Charlotte is based in Vancouver.
That's insane.
And I'm not saying anything bad about them. They can have a great event. It's the fact that do they understand the locale? Do they understand their people? Are they there?
Well, but also, I think the other piece of it too is that we are local, we care. So if we put on a terrible event, we know that we're gonna have to face that crowd.
And I don't think people understand that you guys. It's literally just you two. I mean, obviously, you have an amazing intern over there.
We do.
Shout out. I don't know if she can hear us. Oh, she's in her own little world. There she is, off camera. But like, it is just you guys.
Well, and how we've been able to manage that is tech. I mean, I'm so grateful for all the technology and software that was available to us these days. And it really does stem from, I'm so glad I had my race parts business because it got me introduced to, websites and all of the different marketing platforms and video and all those different pieces, so that when it came to building this out, the only way that we were able to do this is because we can implement technology into our whole processes. And that makes a big difference.
I think the other part about the way, just personally, with her and I work together, is the fact that I could not do this on my own.
Neither could I.
And she couldn't do it on her own.
No.
And so, but it just so happens that our talents, like our puzzle pieces, she handles all the tech. Like, for instance, we were just talking about this a minute ago. Like, she handled all of our own website stuff, We do all of I do all the graphic stuff. But we all of the forms and the money for how to collect money with the ticketing, the how to just some people. You know how difficult it is to check people in when they buy an online ticket. So all of a sudden you can get a ticket by either buying it at the door or paying it online or giving cash. We have to check those people in. How do you do that? You know, it's like, those are questions like, oh, wow, I never thought about that before. You don't think about it till you actually have to do it. And you have to think about it ahead of time. And then you have to scale it up. It's like, I've never baked a cake before, but the first thing I'm going to do is bake a cake for 1,000 people.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, so how I view it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the shows, or specifically the Christmas show is your biggest show.
Mm-hmm. It is. Mm-hmm.
That's the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I think the regular season, the playoffs, that's what the Hickory Buzz is. That is everything all encompassing, all your events that you do, but now you have something to talk about all year, right? Mm-hmm. Is the Hickory Buzz. So talk a little bit about the Hickory Buzz for people who might not know, because this right here is the next thing. This is incredible.
Right. Well, we do believe in connecting the community through events. And it's not just our events. We know that it's so hard sometimes to even find out what's going on. The number of people. Yeah, we've got the second biggest event in the whole Hickory area. The number one is Oktoberfest, and the Christmas show is the second largest event in this entire community. But we still run into people that didn't know there was a Christmas show. Now we have also we've done radio ads and magazine and spent lots of money on social media. We have an email list. We do lots of networking.
Mailers, yeah.
We do direct mailers. We've done all of these things, and yet there are still people that don't know about it. And we know what we've done on our end, and then we also know, just being people, and like, hey, what's going on this weekend, and all the different places that you have to look to try to find something to do. Well, we were like, that's a problem. And at the end of the day, we are problem solvers. That's probably the biggest thing, whether it's on the sales or the marketing or the engineering. We are problem solvers, and we saw that as a problem. And we've worked on this for more than a year. We've certainly, when we had the idea and then all the research, just like we did with the Christmas show. And so what the buzz is we are looking to be the most comprehensive calendar in this entire community. And we want to be anything from those large scale events like the Christmas show and Oktoberfest to the concert series to the live music that's happening in the area. And we even want to be the place where you find out where the yard sales are.
Yeah, and it appeals to everybody. Like, we were talking to our dad. Dad was like, "What are you working on?" Well, we got this Hickory Buzz, and I could see in his mind, he's like, blah blah. He's a car guy, so he's probably thinking about what he's doing on his current Mustang he's working on, and he's like, "We're saying you can go see festivals, you can go live music," and I know he's like, blah blah blah. But it's also a listing of all the car shows. Oh, really? You got car shows on there? We do.
I mean, just to list it. This is the page right here. Events that can be submitted: movies, attractions, live music, kids and family, festivals, arts, sports, car shows, yard sales, open houses, classes, and that's just to name a few. Also, food specials: kids eat free, BOGO, prime rib night, half priced, $1 draft, special buffet, anything free, and more. I think one of the things you said, 19 cents shrimp. What was the special?
Yeah, it was 19. Right? That was like, yes, 19 cent. I think peel and eat shrimp at the Iron Thunder Saloon. I was like, who knew that?
That's
insane. Like, you know,
on some night of the week or whatever.
And
right?
a lot of this is so personal too, because we live here, and so like this is stuff that we build it because we want it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we also see value in it. We would never do like if we look at our Christmas show one day and we say, you know what, if we were a potter, we wouldn't even do the Christmas show because we don't see value in it. We wouldn't do the Christmas show anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if we were a vendor, we think the Christmas show is the best event that you could possibly do. If same thing with the like we made, so the idea is the keychains. So we want to have this stuff connected to us at our fingertips at all times, such that like I like to be spontaneous. I don't like to plan. Planning a lot of times really like I plan you have to plan, right? But you try to plan not to plan because otherwise it's just like it's too rigid. Your life is too rigid. You know, you got to have some free flow space in there, right? So what if you're riding down the road at 6:30 at night and on a Friday night or a Saturday night, you're like, man, I want to go see some live music somewhere. What are you going to do?
You're
Where are you
gonna
going to go
start
find
Facebook groups?
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I mean?
But let's say you're driving.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what you do? You get your phone out. You hit we have these. So we're going to be giving these keychains out to. We're going to be doing a lot of events, and people can have these keychains. But you have this keychain. You hit it with your QR code. You go there, and then you can hit the category of live music. Boom! It's right there.
And you guys were showing me yesterday, like, it is, like, so comprehensive. It is not like, oh, there's just a couple things. Like, you could literally, to the date, to the location, like, it's so, like, comprehensive. Like, it is so cool. Like, so you said you've been working on it for over a year. Now, obviously, your thing is bringing people together, right? Mm-hmm. People is the core of everything we do.
Community,
100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did that conversation look like? And, like, for the past year, how much work has actually gone into it? Because I'm really big on, like, people really don't understand the work that goes behind some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So talk about what that conversation looked like and the work that went in.
Well, part of it, so what we truly is we are a website, for one thing. We're actually a couple of different websites because the calendars, there's 2 different calendars. One's events, the other one's food. And right now we're a weekly newsletter as well. We're probably going to go a little bit more when you look at advertising, but a lot of the research that goes into, the my God, platforms, talking about the tech platforms, I can't even tell you how many hours of YouTube videos and courses and all of that. I can't tell you.
Can I tell you? Can I talk about it?
Yeah. Go for it.
So Kate has so it's like one of those things that where at the concept of this was on my side was the branding side.
Yeah.
If we gotta like have an idea, a concept of what our brand, we knew it was going to be the Hickory Buzz, and obviously Buzz, it's like you could be a bee, whatever. But like we said, we got to come with it. On her side, she's got to figure out the tech to put all this together. I'm not looking into the tech. I got other stuff to do. So, anyways, she worked for a long time. And on a couple of different platforms went down the rabbit hole of this one platform, and I think we had even paid for it. And going down, and we're talking about, and she's telling me about
2
it.
platforms
and I'm asking questions because now I'm like the jerk that's at the end. It's like, okay, I wasn't involved this whole time, but let me start asking you some questions about it. And then this was like, I don't know, 4:00 on a Friday, and it's like, you know what? I don't think we should use that calendar. What do you think about that? But hey, how quick can you? So, but that's but I can tell you what was important about that was asking the questions, us collaborating on that. We identified that one of those forks in the road to where it was going to be critical, in the fact that it was a reason why people weren't going to use it. And and if you knew that at that time that was going to be a limiting factor of why people wouldn't use it, and you just kept going down that road because you didn't want to waste the time that you'd went in there, now you're just basically throwing good money after bad money. And so we stopped and we said, let's regroup here. Let's go this other direction. And we're very, very because we feel like we have attacked our platform from every angle we can possibly think of.
Well, and being on the tech side, without the fact that I'm not a developer, so I don't write a lot of code. I knew that doing this from scratch is basically what this was, and I'd done enough research that I had a backup. Like, okay, if you hate this one, there's maybe this one we could look at. so there was that. It was a very frustrating process, but and I knew that building it from scratch, it really had some opportunities to have some more difficulties, where if you've already got like a kind of a done for you platform, it's somebody else's problem. And now this is going to be my problem if something goes wrong. Yeah. But you do have more ownership when it's yours. So yeah, built it out basically from scratch. I mean, I didn't build the software, but
you have a choice at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's either before you release it to the public, you either have the choice of like, you can poke holes in it yourself, or you can launch it and let everybody else poke holes in it. I'd rather poke holes in it myself, so we know what we're up against. And so we thoroughly tested it, used it. We had used it ourselves. I'm not saying this as like a sales promote. I use the Buzz all the time.
Yeah, you were telling me last night, you were talking about all the little specials, and I was like, in my head, my thought automatically goes to, this could be the thing that keeps a business open. Like, this could be, they attract 100 new customers a month, or 50 new customers. That just gets them over the edge to be able to pay rent. that keeps the lights on. That keeps them from thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore, right? This could truly be the thing that helps small business owners keep their business alive.
And it's free for them to use.
It's right
free.
there.
And they can put their own events on. And it's not just events. So our initial goal was just the events until we started identifying. It was just, again, this is another personal thing about like all the food specials. Like you would see things like, I tell you, like one would be would be like O'Charlie's. My dad and I used to go to O'Charlie's every Wednesday because it's free pie day. I don't know, it's just they have great pie and it was a free pie day. All of a sudden they stopped doing free pie. I hadn't been back to O'Charlie's in like 5 years. And then it was like Father's Day, and they were like, hey, I think O'Charlie's has prime rib night. Okay, we went back and like, guess what? They had free pie again. Now I don't think they have it again, but like I think they had it for a little while. But it was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go back. But it's like I think that we get into a rotation of like of what we do event wise and our food, our restaurants. You start thinking about like a Friday night or a Saturday night. Where do you want to go to eat? I don't know. And you start thinking about the ones that your usual go-tos, right? But then you tell me, Lenny, does it ever come up to where it's like, hey, let's go to some place we've never been before? Does that ever come up?
Oh, 100%. 100%. But then you're like, dang, what are the best options? And it's just like, then you can look at the specials. I have a newborn now, infant. But like, you get to that point where it's like, you have people who have families. It's like, you were telling me last night, like, get ready because kids, it's a lot to feed kids. And you don't realize that there are places out here that kids eat free or they have a special for kids and stuff like that. You get to, not only is the family saving money, but the business is either getting new customers or maybe somebody who wouldn't eat out that night.
Mm-hmm. And that's on the newsletter too. If you get the newsletter, which I encourage everybody to subscribe to the newsletter, we kind of like outline it for you. Like if you want to have a food special every night of the week, we have them on there. Like, I mean, for me personally, this past week, I ate at the Hickory Tavern on Monday night. It was free. It's half price burgers, and their burgers are excellent. Tuesday night, which I don't even know. This is where I was like, my wife was like, we weren't even planning on eating out Tuesday night, but it was later. It was like 7:00, and we're like, hey, what do you want to eat? I don't know. It's easy to go out. Where do you want to go? Let me check the Buzz. You go to El Paso over on 70. It's $2 tacos and $2.99 margaritas. So I got 4 tacos and 2 margaritas for what? Less than $15, and it was delicious. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was like. It was awesome. And so where do we go? Oh, and then yesterday we went to the Pizza Hut buffet over here on 321. If you didn't know, this is the one Pizza Hut that actually has the buffet on 2 or 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. And it's like
which you can look at the Buzz too.
Which you look at the Buzz, yep. But there's I haven't been to the Iron Thunder yet, but I'm definitely going to hit the Iron Thunder. And what Juliet will tell us.
We've got some Cranford's. Has got some Cranford's Barbecue has some great specials. Granny's, because they've got different specials throughout the week too.
The Copper Penny.
Oh yeah, prime rib night, and they've got some good ones.
And there's lots of places where the kids eat free. And that's also important too. You can go to if you go to the Buzz, you'll see at the top of the page. When we try to keep the page very simple because we don't want to junk it up with anything more than what our core is, which is events and food. You'll see food. Click on the food because the food is its own separate calendar. You can actually categorize it by those things. Like, hey, I just want to see where kids are eating free, or I want to see the restaurants in Hickory itself, or Newton, or Lenore, or Morganton, wherever you want to be. So you can categorize a lot of different ways.
This is just so cool. I mean, because like for someone watching, like they say 100% free, they mean 100% free. You get to either have your event, your restaurant. I mean, if you're a real estate agent, open houses, all these things. Like, in my mind, this automatically just goes to, like, this is the thing.
Well, there's one other very large perk to this for the business, the organizer side of things, which is the fact that if you go, you can, like when I was talking about searching by venue or category, but your venue, let's say you're a real estate agent. You could have your listing of you're an organizer, and you could put your open houses on there. You could then you could go into the Buzz. Anybody could do this. You could click on the organizer, see all of your listings. Now that is a unique URL website address. You could copy that address and share that as your own calendar. You don't even have to maintain your own calendar, and that's free. So all you have to do is pop. So we figured out all the tech, all the server, whatever, however you serve it, all that sort of stuff. The technical side of things, that's as far as it goes with me. But we've figured it all out to where other people can take advantage of it for free. So we feel like that's a perk that that businesses could utilize to be able to let their people know what they're doing with their own specials or their own events that they're putting on.
So, last couple questions. What's the overall goal with this? I'll start with you and then go to Jimmy.
Well, we want to have the largest audience with the largest email list in this entire region. That way, for me, it's about email. That is the most personal out of all of the things. So I really do want to reach you by email. I mean, everything else is kind of discoverability. So if we can reach you by email, then you can be part of our tribe, our community, and we can all be working together, and we can get that feedback. Promoting our own events is, of course, important, but having the largest list, that's the biggest thing, and to provide the most value for the community we possibly can.
What about you, Jimmy?
What she said, and then also just being able to make it efficient. When I sit in networking groups, and everybody goes around the room and they talk about what their needs are, what their goals are. And I realize that we have 30 people in here that all said the same thing, and they're all trying to do the same thing. From why waste that energy and effort when we could have one centralized location for all that, and now they can spend their energy and their resources on other aspects of their business to make it better. Because you can't be good at everything. You can't, especially small business. I mean, even large business, if you're a large corporate, but like you ask a small business, I mean, that even has 10 people, who's the owner? The guy raises his hand. Who's the janitor? Probably the same guy raises his hand. Who's your marketing person? The guy raises his hand. And so it's like, you have to wear all the hats. And so like something like one thing that's important to us is like, we love food trucks. We have the food trucks can actually post their locations on our food calendar every day, and it's free. Because if you own a food truck, I mean, do you have time to market? You're probably cooking food, So
I think the whole thing is just insane.
We just want everybody on it. We want everybody to have a keychain. We want everybody to utilize it as their one go-to source, and we want to centralize it.
I just love how authentic you guys are, because it's like, the biggest thing, and this is coming from, I'm a marketing guy, so I always think marketing. When you think of marketing, think of convenience. You guys are bringing the convenience. Not only are you guys putting on the greatest events in this entire area, and possibly all of North Carolina, but, I didn't say that. But, like, the convenience of a business owner being able to be like, this is what we have going on. A restaurant being like, these are our specials. Like, you're bringing convenience to people. And there's literally I love this. I'm not saying it because you guys are in front of me. I just think this is awesome. And, like, the impact it can have. And you guys aren't even charging for it. Like, that's the thing. It's like...
It is satisfying when we talk to people and we explain the whole idea of the buzz. And a lot of this is individual when people have to explain it to them because they don't really understand it. And the first question is, how are you guys going to make money doing this? Well, the thing is, it's like, because I can tell you that for businesses to use our calendar, for businesses to put their events and their food specials on our calendar, will always be free. We'll never change. We will, if we go broke, we will not monetize that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What we will do is if we have a large contingent of followers that see value in our product and they really want to see more content, then like we ask ourselves, what would we pay as the Hickory Christmas show to advertise with the Hickory Buzz? If somebody else were doing this, if somebody else owned the buzz, would the Hickory Christmas show use our a percentage or a large percentage of our advertising budget to advertise? The answer is absolutely, hands down, 100%. Because in relation, now I'm not saying knocking any other form of advertising, but saying what we can do comprehensively, what others can't, is where we want to continue to strive for.
Yeah.
So you'll see ads in our newsletter. And, hey, it's going to help us. It's going to help our advertisers, if people click on those ads. but it's not intrusive. You know?
But our newsletter is also going to have a feature at the beginning. We're going to do a highlight on, could be an event, could be somebody's business, could be like, we could do video, we could do a lot of things to be like, hey, these are the places you had no idea were even here.
I just think it's all incredible. So real quick, and I have two questions that I ask every guest. But for you guys, I'm going to change it and make it more specific. If you can go back to your first event ever, like that you guys worked together, what would you tell yourself knowing what you know now? We'll start with you.
Wow. I want to say, like, I'm going to go back to the first event being the 2020 Cars Racing show that kicked off like round 2 of all of this. I'm going to tell you, that was the bravest thing I've ever done in my whole life. I just brought in all of this money from all of these vendors, and the risk was that our show could be shut down in the first 5 minutes. So if we could just open the doors, because there was somebody actively trying to get us shut down. I am so proud of the fact that we were brave enough to take on risk that we didn't perceive as risk, you know? So I think that's my biggest takeaway is keep striving, and I would tell myself, you know, hey, keep striving, keep taking those big swings, take those risks, and swing for the fences.
Now what about you, Jay?
Well, I think I'm going to make Kate cry here so you can see how much we really care. Let's go back to the 2020 show, and the fact that what I can tell you is I don't remember how much money we made.
I don't either.
I do know that we didn't lose money.
Right.
I don't think we made $1 million. I mean,
No.
obviously, we didn't make a lot of money, but I tell you what we do remember, which is the fact, I can say this now, so whatever, I don't think it's going to get us in trouble, but the, you know, at the time, I mean, the restaurants and all that were all shut down. Well, we had we had a vendor who had a relationship with somebody that owned a restaurant. I won't say what it is, probably won't say what it is. So, anyways, we were like, hey, let's go, because part of this racing thing is community. Everybody likes to, you know, have a good time and get together. So we're like, hey, let's we're going to basically have this private event over at this restaurant. Well, we had packed this place out, and so the restaurant owner, he did work it out with the powers that be that it was going to be okay for a while to be able to do this. Called in his servers. His servers had all been at home. They'd been on furlough. Because there's no jobs. So we went there and we ran this. So not only, I mean, we're talking that we all had a great time, but then it's like ran this place completely out of liquor, and the fact that like they went through all their glasses and got into the styrofoam cups, you know that we're in good. But like we're talking about the racers were leaving these waitresses like $100 tips and stuff, and it was the fact where we had a waitress, and you see Kate's gonna cry,
I am.
and I'm gonna tear up talking about this, but the fact that they didn't know how they were gonna buy Christmas gifts for their kids. And so they did. And this one event, so you can say that we defied the rules of COVID and all that sort, but we remember that. That's why we do what we do, because we can make a difference in people's lives.
100%. You okay?
Oh yeah, it just always cheers me up, you know, when we talk about it.
It's a great story. It's like again, going back to what we started this conversation.
Yeah.
People.
It's
community.
people.
It's all about people. Everything that we do is all about people. So last two things for you. Well, last two things. First, to end it, I want you guys to shout all your stuff out. For anyone watching this is how we end every podcast.
Okay.
What's the best piece of advice that you can give to someone watching this? For you guys, I feel like it'd be better on the business side. But for someone watching, what is the best piece of advice or life advice? If you got that too, share the wisdom that you give to someone watching right now.
All right.
You want to start?
Yeah. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams, to break the rules, because you realize that a lot of times you make your own rules. I'm not saying go break the law. I'm saying like a lot of people are paralyzed with their fear of failure. You know what? We've sat here and talked about the successes that we've had. Well, we can equally sit here and talk about our failures as well.
Oh, yeah.
The ideas that we've had that didn't work. But you know how you know they didn't work? You did them.
You tried them.
And so it's like, I respect those who go off and follow an idea or a dream and fail than the ones who were too afraid to follow it in the first place.
And I'm going to keep going on that. You'll never know how far you could go until you fail, because that's the limit. It's like getting directions. You know, if you cross the bridge, you've gone too far.
Oh, when someone tells
Right?
you guys, like,
Right?
but you don't know.
But you
until cross
don't
the bridge.
know until you've crossed that bridge. So you just never know how. If you always have successes, you never know how far you could have gone.
And now that I have you both on camera, what is it's funny that it's year 3. Like like the amount of people you're able to bring out the first 2 years. Like, this is only year 3. What does year 10 look like?
Ooh.
I think this is a math problem again. So it's like I think, like, so we do have more space because we're not in the gymnasium part yet, but
We've expanded to 3/4 of the convention
we
center.
don't want to be there because we don't feel like that we can provide enough balance for the vendors to the attendees. Could we sell it? Well, I'm sure we could, but we just don't feel like it's the right thing to do, but without being able to get more people in there. So now, if we knew in year 10 that somebody has built a 5,000 parking lot deck right there on the other side of the Iron Thunder, okay, we're cooking with gas now. Now we're talking about getting 40, 50,000 people here. Yeah. But hopefully the one thing I want people to take away is the efforts that we're going through to be able to shuttle people to the convention center from Valley Hills Mall, right outside of the Sears area in that auxiliary parking lot. Yeah. That just go over there and park. You can, like, you don't have to worry about finding a spot. The shuttle runs every 10 minutes and there's going to be multiple shuttles. So I want people to start utilizing that. And once they understand the shuttles, we can start getting more people in there.
And then, absolute last thing, where can people find you? How can people get in touch with the Buzz, the Hickory Christmas Show, all the shows you guys do? If you want to go through a quick lineup of all the shows you have coming out for the next year, all the links are going to be in the description for the website, social media, all that. So make sure you go click it below. And also, we're going to have an affiliate code for this year's show. I'm putting them on the spot now, but so the code will also be in the description below. But
it'll always be love. Just always use love. He's got that trademarked right there. So
yeah. Well, I mean, there's somebody in this room that has to actually do the tech of putting the tickets onto the website. But
I wonder who that is.
I don't know. But our other shows, we haven't really talked about a lot of them, but we've got the Hickory Christmas Show coming up in December. Boom. And then January will be our however many years that is, the Cars Racing Show in January. We will also have our first Hickory Wedding Expo.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, nice.
Right.
In the end of February, beginning of March, we will have the Hickory Home and Garden Show.
Second annual Home and Garden Show.
And then in May, we moved the Hickory Women's Expo from the fall into the spring. Ooh. So Hickory Women's Expo.
That's awesome.
Yes. But 24/7, all year long, you can find us at hickorybuzz.com, and then hickoryshows.com has the overview of all of our shows. And the best thing to do to just stay in contact with us, and we don't abuse anybody's email by any means, but join our list. Join our list over at hickorybuzz.com, and then you can receive that, that little reminder, or see the food specials each week. We kind of do a little highlight on that. And for any businesses who are looking to reach a bigger market, you're welcome to contact us, and that was just kind of lower on the list as far as all of the advertising pieces of that, but that we'll continue to develop that over time. So if you're a business, you can contact us, and we'll put together, we'll figure it out.
That's awesome. Any last things you guys want to talk about real quick? Got a couple more minutes. Yeah, like 2-3 more minutes. We can go.
Interesting. Well, so interestingly enough, so that when you do events, especially trade shows, that a lot of them, most of them, are very, very date specific. Like there are very tight windows and when you can pull a show off.
You can't do a Christmas show in September.
Why not?
Well, that's why December is important for us. I know there's a lot of Christmas shows before Thanksgiving, but for us personally, we do it because Thanksgiving's Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving is Christmas. And so it's important. December is Christmas. A lot of it is not just the idea of like coming and buying gifts. It's about like the spirit of Christmas. But so when we choose to look into developing a new show platform, we look into, first of all, what are the optimal dates for this, and then can we get them? This is what's so nice about having such a great working relationship with the Metro Convention Center, is that we can sit down with them and they'll be happy to try to make things work as much as they can. They've been great partners of ours and in the past, and we know they will be moving forward in the future. We kind of work hand in hand with that stuff. Mandy and her whole staff are just amazing up there. But the so two of the ones, this was very interesting, is that a racing show really needs to be done in December or early January. December is kind of out because there's other racing events across the country that are, so really that second weekend of January has always been our cars event. Well, if you identify what's optimal for a wedding expo, you'd want it to be when the venues aren't busy, and and also that 73% of engagements happen at Christmas. So now people just got a diamond at Christmas. Now they're thinking about weddings. So January, let's turn around. That's it. Yeah. So we decided, you know what? Let's do the racing show and the wedding show at the same time on the same weekend.
Whoa! So hold up. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
How do logistics of that work? Again,
Hey, we just like to, it's like playing a video game. We just wanted to level up.
That's right. Logistically speaking, there's not as many challenges as there are with the Christmas show. Because
is the Christmas show just that much bigger?
It is. I mean, when you're talking about, yeah, I mean, you're like, we have a good idea what the cars crowd is going to be. It's definitely like a quality crowd, and then the wedding is much more of a niche market, whereas Christmas affects everybody. And so, but it's going to be such a, we're going to, with pretty much everybody that's going to come to the wedding expo, if they want to go see race cars and cool race parts and stuff, they can walk over there and go look at that. And then and then a lot of the racer wives, they can go over, and we're going to have a fashion show in the middle. And so.
The last thing I really want to say about you guys, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you guys. You guys are awesome people. I want to help however we can. You guys just say the word. But I'm so happy for you guys, and I want to be a part of all the events. However I can help. I don't vend or anything, but like I'd love to help on the back end and see how we can make things happen. But I'm so happy for you guys. I still can't get over the fact that it's only you two. Not mentioning the intern, but like realistically, like when she does leave, it's just going to be you two. Like the fact that you guys are here, you're local. Like, I mean, that's something that says a lot. Like, you guys care. And, again, I still can't get over the whole, like, $1, $2 thing. I think it literally shows. And it's like, anybody else would just be, well, just upcharge. Just upcharge. But you guys are like, no, like, we'd rather not lose this many people and lose the dollar or two. And it's just so incredible. So, thank you guys again for your time. Most importantly, I know you guys are really busy and you guys have to head out. But if you haven't, make sure you check out Hickory Shows, Hickory Buzz. All this stuff is going to be in the description below. Also, use my code LOVE and get, was it $2 off?
$2 off.
I just found out, right as we got on the pod. We get $2 off tickets for the Hickory Christmas Show, which is happening again. When?
December
5th through the 7th.
5th through the 7th at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. I think that's the actual name. Is that the right name? Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're still taking applications for vendors for the Christmas show, the wedding expo. We're taking exhibitor applications for that as well. We don't have the applications live yet for the women's expo or the home and garden show, but you can always just reach out to us at office@hickoryshows.com. And we're always open to ideas. If somebody's a visionary out there and they say, hey, we think it would be really awesome if you did this.
X, Y, and Z.
We're your huckleberry, man. Go ahead and call us and see, because we're never going to say there's a dumb idea. No. So, and a lot of times, what's really cool about her and I working together is we can we spitball and throw something out there, and then it morphs into at the end of the day, we don't know whose idea it was. No. It just ended up happening, but there's no such thing as like a dumb idea, because you can really quell visionary type people by being critical too early.
Yeah.
So if you're a visionary out there, check out Hickory Show, Hickory Buzz. But again, thank you guys so much. Make sure you go follow. That's all I got to say. But until next time, there's only one thing to do. Two things to do. Hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, live, love, crush hate. Until next time, we out.